Hey guys, today I'll be going over everything you need to know about animaljam trading and item worth. I've never really seen like a video or anyone really talk over the subject before, so I thought I'll go over everything I know as someone who is somewhat rare. Disclaimer, while I'll be going over as much as I can, this video will obviously not include literally everything. I also apologize if I explain something badly or miss anything. So please feel free to add on, ask questions, or correct me in the comments. Part 1. How to measure an item's worth. To start off, I'll be going over how worth is usually counted. People usually use sapphires, forest gauntlets, 5K items, blackouts, and white bow ties to measure the worth of items. Starting from the bottom. 5K items are what their name suggests, items worth around 5,000 sapphires. Not all 5K items are actually wanted though. So when people ask for 5K items, they're usually referring to items like, just off the top of my head, Dizzy Stars, Double Tail, Leilani Dragon Wings, and Outback Scarf. Obviously, I'm probably missing a lot, but you get the point, hopefully. These items have less value when doing bigger trades and are more often ads. Items with less value will often get worth by these. For example, someone could say Blackout Spike is worth 4 to 6 5K items. Next, I'll be going over white bow tie. Similar to forest gauntlets, which I'll go over in a second, bow tie worth is used to measure the worth of extremely rare items. When someone says bow tie worth, they are almost always referring to white bow, which is the highest rarity. These are worth around 300,000 sapphires, just so you get an idea if you don't already know. If someone is asking for worth in bow ties, it's usually a very rare item like airplane wings, for example. Finally, I'll be going over forest gauntlets because those are typically the most common you'll see. They're usually referred to now as peers, which I just recently found out actually, because with all the new effects and party variants there are now, peers mean they are the original teal forest gauntlets. So if you ever see someone asking for peers, just know that that's what it means. Like I said, forest is the most often used to measure an item's worth. If someone says their item is worth 2 to 3 forests, or they want 2 to 3 forests, they usually don't mean they actually want 2 or 3 forest gauntlets, but something that's equal to the worth of forest gauntlets. That brings me to the next part I want to go over. Part 2. Knowing sapphire worth and making fair offers with it. Sapphire worth is the worth of an item in sapphires, like its name suggests. For example, forest gauntlets are worth around 40,000 to 45,000 sapphires. Although it rises constantly, people don't often ask for sapphire worth unless they're interested in buying or selling that thing, but it's very helpful to know so that you can find the worth of several items and make trades. Using my last example, let's say someone's looking for 2 to 3 forests. With forests going for around 40,000 sapphires, you can use math and do 2 times 40,000 sapphires. So you can find out that they're looking for an offer worth at least 80,000 sapphires. This is helpful to know when making offers because I can now find the sapphire worth of the items I'm offering and try to reach 80,000 sapphire worth. If you don't know or are unsure about the sapphire worth of an item, you can find it on the Ajpw Sapphire Worth wiki. I know that's confusing, so here's an example. Let's say I'm offering for Gemolity Forest Gauntlets. Those are currently going for around 60,000 sapphire worth last time I checked. So with that, I can offer Forest, which is around 40,000 worth, and Blackout Spike, which is around 20,000 worth, because they add up to 60,000 worth. And that's how you know your offer is fair. However, this is not always the case, which brings me to part 3. How demand changes the worth of items. The demand of a certain item is how popular it is or how much people want / are willing to trade for it. Basically, it's how easy it is to trade that item. Most items worth 5,000 sapphires or less have no real demand when trying to trade for bigger things. Meaning that while you might get a few offers in the pillar room or a couple sales in your shop, you can't really do much if you're looking for bigger items. One example would be if I had 3,000 phantom portals, which are all in the shop for 100 sapphires each. And while that means technically they're worth 300,000 sapphires, I can assure you that nobody's gonna pay 300,000 sapphires for all of those. It's not the best example. So another item that has less demand right now are party items. This means that it will be hard to find anyone who will trade an exact fair amount for your item. For party items, the only exception really is if you have a good set of party items, in which case people would offer more for the set. But otherwise, you won't see yourself getting good offers unless it's something someone is looking for specifically, or if it's good like the set. Items with good demand, on the other hand, are items you can trade easily and get their full worth, if not higher. These things are all things I listed previously, like force gauntlets, archer hats, certain alpha items, bow ties, etc. Knowing the demand of items is very important in trading because, like I mentioned before, you may be technically fair in worth, but also be under at the same time. I think this is something that a lot of newer players or less experienced traders don't understand yet, because I'll see people offering a huge variety of items that is maybe fair if you add up the worth. Everything individually, like my Phantom Portal example, but just isn't as good enough. People don't want the bunch of smaller items, they want the bigger items. Having items that are less in demand will usually mean you'll have to add, even if it means you're technically over. Part 4. Trading den advice if you're trying to get rare. As you may or may not know, trading dens are the place you want to go when you're looking for, I'd say, something around blackout or higher. If not, then I'd suggest the Pillow Room, Sapphire Shop, Arctic Wolf Cave, or Fox Lair. But for this video, let's just assume you're doing bigger trades. The main trading den is Ajpw, but there's also Wisteria Moon and X Fancy Shorts. If you're unfamiliar with a trading den, it's basically just a popular den that people will gather to make trades. They're known as the place to go to trade if you're rare or looking for rare items, which is why I'm bringing them up in this video. So while it doesn't really have to do anything with item worth, it's essential to go there to trade for anything good. Here's some things to know. Most people prefer chat off, especially make sure to look out for signs on people's trade lists that will ask for chat on or off, because people will ignore your trade completely if you don't listen. Always make sure to have your offer ready beforehand. No one likes waiting for you to slowly pick and choose what you want to add to your trade. Thankfully, however, we have the new trade feature where we can add our offer before starting the trade, so I'd highly suggest doing that. Part 5. Last tips you need to know to find worth in trade. Last but not least, some advice for finding worth in trading. If you need to find the worth of a specific item, the AJ Worth Wiki / AJ Sapphire Worth Wiki is always the way to go. Some items may not be 100% accurate on there, especially when taking demand into account. So do make sure to keep that in mind. If you want to make sure, you can always check the comments on the page, because if it's inaccurate, usually the comments will say so. To do this, all you need to search up is the item followed by AJ Worth, for example, Force Gauntlets AJ Worth, and make sure you're looking at the correct one and not AJ Classic. Other places that you can trade or ask about trades or worth that I'd suggest would be the AJ Reddit, any AJ Discord servers, or the discussion channels on either of the animaljam worth wikis. I really suggest going there if you have any worth or trade questions, or if you're just looking for something really specific. Anyways, that's all. I really hope this helps with trading and worth. Like I said before, if you have any additional advice you'd like to share or any questions, please let me know in the comments. I hope this was helpful. Thank you for watching.
I got you in my